Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here. Today we have another question that deals with our frogs and their environment, but we're looking at it in a different perspective. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question. Could there have ever been frogs with red skin in the environment with blue and yellow flowers? So, if we're looking at our population here, we do have a unique set of yellow and blue frogs that would more than likely live and survive in this environment. But the question is asking, could there have ever been frogs with red skin in this environment? So, knowing what we know, let's go ahead and take a look at our options to best answer this question. Option one, a frog could have been born with a mutation in its gene for the red skin trait and lived for a little while, but it would have been more likely to die before it had offspring. Option two, a frog could have been born with a mutation in its gene for the red skin trait, but having a mutation in its gene would have caused it to die when it was born. Option three, no frog could have been born with a red skin trait in the past, but some with that trait could be born in the future if the environment changes to have red flowers. So, knowing what we know about populations, how they change, and thinking about whether or not we could have red skinned frogs in the environment, go ahead and select your answer. Pause the video once you have your answer, and then unpause the video to see if you got it right. Okay, think you got it right? Let's take a look. We know that a new trait will only become more common in a population if it is adaptive. So we know that even though that this environment has yellow and blue flowers, those are the colors that are going to be adaptive, and they're going to become more common over time. That doesn't mean necessarily that there won't be non-adaptive traits in this population. In order for there to be non-adaptive traits like a red gene, a mutation to the gene can introduce a new trait into that population. So if one of these sets of frogs were to have a baby with a mutation that gives it red skin, then yeah, it could definitely have that red skin trait within this population. Now, will it become common over time? Probably not, because it's not adaptive in this environment. So when we're looking at our options here, we know that the third one is wrong. It cannot be the third one. Okay. The environment doesn't determine whether or not a mutation happens. Mutations are random. They happen at any point whenever offspring are created. Okay. They could also make a frog with green skin. It all depends on the mutation. The environment does not determine if a mutation occurs. The second option, a frog could have been born with a mutation, but having a mutation in gene would cause it to die. That's not true. Mutations happen all the time. These mutations do not lead to death when they are born. They lead to new traits, and whether they become common or not depends on the environment. So the only correct option is the first option. Option one, a frog could have been born with that mutation, lived for a while, but more likely died before having offspring. So that's how you find the correct answer. If you have questions, reach out. Otherwise, good luck with the rest of your questions.